You ever see a full-grown adult lose a fight to a snowman? No, really, that's how my winter went. And trust me, it was as gloriously ridiculous as it sounds. I wish I could tell you I handled it with zen-like maturity. But when the HOA president plowed her SUV straight through our front yard Frosty and only succeeded in wrecking her own car, well, let's just say that was the most satisfying crunch I've ever heard in my life. But hey, let me back up a second. I'm curious, where are you listening from today? Because in Langston County, when the snow falls thick as cotton and the world gets quiet, that's when the drama really starts. It began on one of those perfect snow days, the kind where the flakes come down fat and lazy, begging you to get outside. My daughter Hazel, 8 years old, pure magic, had her nose glued to the window, leaving foggy little circles on the glass. "Is it enough yet, Daddy?" she asked, barely able to contain herself. You know how kids are, they think. Every inch of snow is an invitation from the universe. My grandpa Art was in his old chair, polishing up his camcorder like he was prepping for the Zapruder film. "Keeps the world sharp," he'd say. And honestly, I think he believed it. So out we went, Hazel in 3 puffy layers, me in 2, and Grandpa in his ancient army jacket over flannel. All you ever need, he claimed. The world was so white and quiet it felt like the clock had stopped. For about 5 minutes, anyway. That's when Hazel announced our mission. He needs to be the biggest snowman in the world. I just laughed. "Let's start with the block, see where it goes, champ." Rolling the base was a family event. Grandpa barking orders, center of gravity read, "Use your legs," while Hazel dashed in and out, collecting an orange carrot, a box of old buttons, and, yes, one of my favorite winter scarves. I made a note to rescue it before it turned into a sopping mess. Together we stacked snowballs, carved out a big goofy grin, pushed in button eyes, stuck on the carrot nose, and Hazel, standing on tiptoe, wrapped the scarf around his neck. 7 feet of frosty pride, right in the middle of our yard. We named him Frosty too, because when you're 8, you're not here to reinvent the wheel. As dusk crept in and painted the snow blue, we admired our handiwork. Frank, our neighbor, hollered from across the street, "Just don't let the fun police see him." And we all knew exactly who he meant. Karen Johnson, president of the Oakwood Creek HOA. Clipboard queen, walking citation. Machine, with a helmet of blonde hair and a resting scowl that could sour milk. It seemed like she made it her mission to patrol joy out of existence. If a snowman broke bylaws, you could bet she'd find 3 it violated before breakfast. But that night, tucking Hazel into bed, rosy-cheeked and happy, I didn't give Karen another thought. It was just a snowman, a monument to a perfect day. Later, in the kitchen, I caught Grandpa peering through the window with his camera. "Getting some shots of the subject in repose," he muttered. Then, lowering the camera, he just said, "Looks like the fun police made their rounds." And sure enough, the floodlight out front showed a crime scene. Mangled snow, scattered buttons, my scarf soaked and filthy. 2 sets of tire tracks. Looped away, right back to the street. I didn't need CSI to tell me whose tires. Karen's red Lincoln Navigator left a pretty distinct signature. She didn't just disapprove, she straight up assassinated our snowman with her SUV. My first urge was to march over, demand to know who hurt her as a child, but Grandpa put a steady hand on my shoulder. "Patience, Reed. Revenge is a dish best served cold, and we've got plenty of that tonight." I tried to sleep, but all I could think about was Hazel finding that wreckage in the morning. When she did, her face just crumpled. "He melted?" "No, honey," I told her. "Some very mean, very silly person knocked him down. But we'll rebuild him, I promised. And this time, he'll be stronger." Grandpa, buried in his paper, grunted. "Fortify the position. Good strategy." That's when my eyes landed on the old oak stump, ground down last spring but still a 3-foot wide, 2-foot high slab of stubborn wood, right in the middle of my property, on my side of the line, verified, documented, email argued, and everything. See, months ago, I'd even emailed Karen asking her to get the HOA landscapers to flag the stump for safety. She'd replied with textbook bureaucratic coldness. "Your concern. Consult Bylaw 7.4. I had the emails, the photos, all of it. So this time, we built Frosty not just on the stump, but into it. Packed snow, a splash of water to freeze solid, anchored to 3 feet of immovable oak. Frosty 2 was reborn as Boulder, standing 9 feet tall and wide as a refrigerator. A snowman bouncer with arms like logs and a scowl that dared anyone to mess with him. Frank watched from across the street, building him on the stump. Huh? Smart. Even set up his ring cam for the show. Grandpa put his own camera on a tripod in the living room, calling it surveillance. Hazel kept adding accessories, bigger buttons, a carrot built like a battering ram. By afternoon, Boulder had his own fan club. Cars slowed, kids posed, even Karen's curtains twitched. Then, just as the sun was fading, it happened. Karen's navigator rumbled to a stop in the street. We watched from inside. Me, Grandpa, and Hazel, who pressed her face to the window. "What's that lady doing, Daddy?" "Just admiring our snowman, honey." Then the engine revved, the SUV lurched. Forward. No swerve, no pretense, just a beeline for Boulder. There's a moment, right before chaos, when the world goes silent. That was this. Karen's jaw set, eyes wild. She floored it. The impact was epic. Not the soft thud of snow. No, this was a metal-on-oak crunch that rattled my teeth from 30 feet away. Boulder barely budged. Karen's fancy red navigator? The whole front end. Folded like a soda can. Steam poured from the hood. Headlights exploded. Karen stumbled out, mouth opening and closing like a fish. She'd hit a snowman and lost. Neighbors poured out onto lawns. Phones raised, a mixture of shock and glee. Grandpa got it all, full cinematic angle. Karen, standing in her own wreckage, became an instant meme. The ring cams had her every move. Within an hour, Boulder the Snowman was Facebook famous, complete with superhero capes and photoshopped movie posters. Even the news picked it up. What goes around comes around, the anchor deadpanned, showing our street split screen with a similar Kentucky story. The crowd howled. You'd think Karen would take the loss with a bit of grace. Nope. Next day, I got a stack of HOA citations, fines for unauthorized modification of lawn topography, excessive grass height, under 6 inches of snow, unapproved holiday display, and my favorite, hazardous fluid leakage for the patch left by her own tow truck. Grandpa reviewed the stack, classic shock and awe. She's trying to bury us in paperwork. But I'd played this game before. It only got weirder. Karen started limping around the neighborhood in a pristine neck brace, wincing like she'd survived a train crash. She stopped me at the mailbox. "It's a long road, Reed." All I could manage was, "Be careful out there. Sudden impacts can be dangerous, especially if you drive into a snowman." She glared daggers at me, and I just went home and made cocoa. She wasn't done. A few days later, flyers hit every door. A community safety meeting about the dangers of unregulated lawn obstructions. Grandpa cackled. She's doubling down. "Bring popcorn." The big day, Karen gave a speech, then hopped in a golf cart to demonstrate safe driving around garden gnomes. But she forgot one thing, physics. The cart tipped over, slow as honey, right onto its side. Karen's legs stuck out, her neck brace caked in mud. For a heartbeat, silence. Then Frank's laugh cracked the crowd wide open. That video might still be the top post in our neighborhood group. But the real punchline came late one night. 2 a.m. Diesel rumble outside, and floodlights blazing on the front yard. Karen, back in black, had hired a heavy-duty tow truck to deal with both her wrecked SUV and Boulder. But Grandpa's motion lights caught them, and I was out there with my phone and county property map in hand. "Touch that snowman, and you're trespassing. I've got the footage, I've got the witnesses, and I've got the cops on." Speed dial. The driver wanted no part of our suburban war. "Lady, I tow cars, not snowmen," he muttered, and left Karen fuming in the glare of our security lights. But I wasn't done. That night, with Grandpa's encouragement, I lined the property with 24 flamingos, each with a tiny scarf, my own pink plastic army. The next morning, Boulder stood proud behind his flamingo guard, and Karen stared at the scene like she'd seen a ghost. Now, when bullies go nuclear, you gotta bring receipts. And thanks to Paul, our ex-HOA treasurer, quiet, meticulous, never threw out a thing, we had them. Financial statements, vendor contracts, emails, the works. Plus, Frank's ring cam gave us 3 angles on Karen's hit and run. My evidence folder was a fortress: videos, emails, Property surveys, police reports, and, of course, the infamous golf cart flop. We took it only. Karen, sans neck brace, tried to spin it. Dangerous structure, public nuisance, victim of harassment, but nobody was buying. Slide by slide, I walked them through the truth, my polite safety. Request, Karen's dismissive reply, video proof of the crash, the late-night tow attempt, the misused HOA funds. The laughter at the golf cart video was so loud even the board members couldn't hide their smiles. When the vote came down, Karen was done. Out as HOA president, her insurance claim denied, restraining order in place. Paul got elected president in a landslide. His first act? The Boulder bylaw, Snowman allowed, so long as you stay off the sidewalk. The flamingos went back to the basement, Boulder melted in the spring sun, and Karen's house went on the market. Never saw her again. But that's not the end. A late snowstorm brought everyone out to the park. Frank grilling hot dogs, Paul serving hot chocolate, kids building snowmen up and down the block. Grandpa filmed the whole thing, grinning. The old stump, where Boulder once stood, got a firefighter's helmet for a crown, thanks to Frank. Hazel called it the best snow day ever, and I believed her. So here's my question for you. What's stronger, power or proof? Karen had the rules, the titles, the threats, but all it took was the truth, shared with the people, and the whole system crumbled. Maybe that's the real magic. Not just standing up to bullies, but reminding everyone that communities are built on trust and fairness, not fear. I'd love to hear your take. Ever had to go toe-to-toe with a power-tripping neighbor? Think proof always wins, or does might still make right where you live? Drop your stories, your outrage, your best snowman name in the comments. Let's get the debate rolling, because out here, the line in the snow still means something, and I bet you've got a story to prove it.